What's that? Somebody needs to call an ambulance. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. Coming to get you.
L.A.
Yeah, you know what's up. Guys, we saw a movie called Ambulance, if any of that terrible intro helps you figure that out. It's a little movie by Michael Baster.
Bay him begin.
Bam! Start doing that. Yeah, it's got Maggie Gyllenhaal in it. Oh, was it her brother?
Scratch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal. It has...
Yahya Abdul.
Yeah, I was about to say, that black guy. Yeah, I never can say his name. You know the guy, though. He's a pretty good actor.
Her name's like
cool.
Isa. Her name's Isa something.
Oh, dude, yeah, that chick is hot as fuck. She's hit or miss with me, but I really liked her in this movie. Thought she was pretty damn solid.
Well, what'd you think? I know Tyler saw this one.
I did.
And he saw it in IMAX too.
Y'all saw it in IMAX?
Yeah.
Did
you?
Yeah. I did.
Okay, good. We were wondering. I was like, watch Tyler. Went to like this director's hall theater. It's like a tiny ass screen.
What's Tyler's thoughts on this movie?
Oh damn,
Dude, I feel bad for everyone that is editing a Michael Bay movie. They must have nightmares because this movie is very chopped and screwed.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but it works with his style.
Yeah, dude, the action though, the backstory, then a little bit of a backstory, then the action is like non-stop chaos.
It don't take long at all to get to the ambulance.
Yeah, I was getting so hyped once it like jumped into the shit, dude. Like that first, like when they were going outside and the whole deal went wrong, I was like, let's go. It's about to get lit.
Yeah. Dude, the acting I thought was pretty great. They did kind of miss on some of their comedy. It was... Jake Gyllenhaal was a little bit of the comic relief in this movie, and
I actually liked a lot of his comedy.
Name one thing.
Shit, good point. No, legitimately, like I can't off the top.
Some were good, but one is like
there was a lot.
Just deal with it, and I got herpes. I was like.
I
thought the herpes line was funny as
shit.
Yeah,
I like that line. He's like, we just deal with it.
I laughed a couple times.
We were just in like
Gyllenhaal was great with that. I think
we were in different like mind frames. I guess.
Well, I kind of have a bias because I am a sucker for Michael Bay.
Yeah.
His movies, like I will admit, some of them are like awful, like bad movies, but I still enjoy them. They're those so bad they're good kind of deal. I don't
guilty pleasures.
Yeah, guilty pleasure kind of deal. So like this movie did not hold back on that. And did you notice he called out two of his own movies, The Rock and Bad Boys? He called out two of his own movies. Like,
yeah, part of me's like, really,
movie.
bro? But the part of me's like,
it was one. The Rock one was a conversation.
All like, they were like right back to back.
Yeah,
both had to do with the cops.
Mm-hmm. It was the cops when they first got out of the cop car before they went to the bank. He was like two cops getting out of the car like bad boys.
Yeah, and then it was right before that on the way over when he's like, you know, The Rock, and he's like, The Rock, the actor, and he's just like, that was funny to me too.
Yeah,
but yeah, what's all scores? I'm just like it's. Dude, it was great. I mean, it's everything. Like, this is definitely a Michael Bay film.
Yeah,
like, there's nothing's different here. It's just pedal to the metal, crazy, quick cuts all over the place. Even when something might not be that serious, or all up on the character's face. Like to the point where you're like, might just back up a little bit. But it works in Michael Bay films, though. The way it's cut and put together, beautifully shot. The action, I think, was solid. I did enjoy it.
Not the best.
But I will say, as usual, Michael Bay, like the fucking sound design, I think was great.
Yeah.
Like I love the impact of the weapons and the blows. One thing I will say, I wish there was more people just getting gunned down left and right. I feel like it felt like
yeah.
But if you watch this movie, there was a whole lot of like just shooting and no one was dying. And then like out of nowhere, you'd have the like, oh shit, that person died, which that usually works if it's like an important character. But there was times where it was just like, dude.
Well, the shootout at the beginning was like, nobody's hitting anybody.
Yeah,
here?
It's like, where
they
are
missed
people?
a lot.
Yeah, like I wish like all those nobodies, like people were getting gunned down everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I thought they missed opportunity, and I think it might have been a creative choice. because then like one person dies and it's kind of like, oh shit, they're dead. Like it's almost like that, like less is more, like build up, make each character death more important.
He probably did that because he started the movie off with a girl fucking impaled by a metal fence pole.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Dude, that scene was incredible to me.
Yeah, that was
almost
amazing.
teared up in that
Yeah, I did too.
I
That
swear
was
to God.
sad. I will go
swear to
too
God.
deep. It's kind of insignificant, but yeah, but it's sad. And I love the intro with her, and then like how like casual they were, just showing that these ambulance workers like they're might be in the moment, but they're pulled out.
They
of it as
really
soon
are
as
like
done.
that. Like I know like people in the medical field, and they're nothing seems to bother them.
Yeah,
Really. Some it bothers some, but
like
they're
how much
like,
is it just an act?
like they're strong willed, and they're like they can deal with that stuff, and like they're special types of people.
Hey,
All the characters work for me, I think.
I didn't like the ambulance driver.
He was
Buddy the driver.
him?
I hated his character. Like he was making jokes that
he was okay.
didn't need to be in there. Like it seemed like he was trying too hard to
It
be
felt
like
more
uppity
forced
and
with
shit.
him.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the main like bad guys that get incorporated in, they weren't bad, but I think they could have been more convincing in how menacing they were. Like they were passable, but I wish they were like more badass. Like I was just like, oh fuck, like when they're on screen, it kind of felt like, yeah, okay. And I didn't like I liked the cop that was shot, but I didn't like his partner at all.
Oh no.
No, I didn't like him at all. Like
was-
his comedy failed. Like there was some moments where he was set up for like some good comedy. Like there's a time with something popping up in his back seats where I'm like, dude, they could have made this scene so funny, but his delivery
There was not
ass.
one moment in this movie where he was believable to me. Even when he was pissed
No.
off about his partner, I'm like, just stop. Just like stop, dude. Like it's
What's weird is
he wasn't believable.
I was fine with him like on the car ride over, and I was fine with him in that opening scene. I was good with them through all that. But after that opening scene with the opening like shootout, after that it was just like he fell off a complete cliff. I don't know if you feel that way too.
Nah, I didn't like him from the beginning.
Well, because I felt like that, but the more I thought about it, I was like, was he that bad in the open? Like he was just fine to me. Like I don't think he was bad. But then it's like they try to give him more moments to shine after that, and it's like
Yeah.
he's just not carrying his weight. It's not working.
Another good thing I liked about this movie were the drone shots.
See,
Yeah.
I thought there was too much.
No, man, those are in a Michael Bay movie. Those were, especially when they were doing,
Oh,
like,
they were dope.
like drifting, and that it went through that tunnel under the bridge and came around.
Some of them were
And then they
amazing.
take it like above the building
Yeah.
and then shoot
It's-
it down. Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Some of them were incredible, but it's just like if I'm sitting through a movie and
Overkill.
I'm like, dude, like
Well, you
I feel like
knew-
you just got a drone and you're playing with us. Like you're just putting a whole movie on a drone. And if I'm feeling that way, then I'm just like, come on. Like if he used it for like certain
I'm just
scenes-
talking about them like quick scenes of it flying.
Yeah, but
not
there was
just
so
like,
much of it though.
uh,
There was a lot of
Well,
it. Like
I
the
still
one
don't
I
think-
did like
You're
the
wrong.
one where it went underneath that cop car hit the ramp. You see it in
Yeah.
the trailer.
yeah.
And the camera goes underneath of it, dude. It's so fast paced. You're just like, oh shit!
Oh,
Like,
wow.
I'm gonna get ran over.
boner.
I do have some things that just don't make sense to me in the movie, and they
There's a
kind
lot of
of.
that.
Are we? Can we do a little spoilers?
All right, we're going into spoiler territory.
Well, hang on, real quick though, before we jump into spoiler territory. So y'all liked all the characters, or anybody else y'all didn't?
Yeah,
like?
I
Did you
liked
like the
all the
leads?
Uh,
How'd you think Gyllenhaal
I
and
thought the
Long
chemistry
Man
between
did?
Yahya and Gyllenhaal was amazing.
It was
Yeah, I
great.
loved it.
I believed every second that them two were brothers.
Yeah.
And when they would get mad at each other, I believed
Mm-hmm.
They're-
that. And yeah, every time. But Isa stole the show for me. I was so shocked that she was my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah, she killed it.
I was because from the trailers I'm like, okay, she's just gonna be the sexy
Yeah,
female in
not-
this movie. She was way.
she was a
way
main
better.
character.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like she
Pretty
might
much.
have got more screen time than the third most screen time besides.
And before we jump into, I want to talk about the two negatives of the film to me, because I can dance around these, and this is like important for people I want to stay after. One thing being with Gyllenhaal's character. I love Gyllenhaal in this movie because Gyllenhaal's so hard not to like, but it felt like they were trying like I don't know what they were trying to do with him, like in terms of like balancing if he's going to be the all-out good guy or the all-out bad guy.
He is kind of flip
like
switch.
he's like you can't. It's like there's moments where it's like, okay, he's going all out bad guy territory, and they pull it out, and they're just like, okay, he's here just like the brother is to be the good guy. It felt too uneven. At a certain point, it was fine where it was, but it's like, if he's gonna convert to that, like pick a fucking side, dude. It felt kind of like off-putting after a while because it was like a constant balance of like, okay, he's going there with it, he's being like his dad, and then they reel it back in. He's like, no, he wants to be good. And it's like, okay, he's going there with it, and then he even has a moment he's like, actually, I'm the more like sensitive of us two, and it's like, okay, we're reeling it back in. It was just like a constant, like it's fine for a while, you know, he's maybe battling with this, but choose one. Like it was so all over the place with that, and that could have been better with his character. That's disappointing. Yeah. Random thing there. And then the other thing that did not work for me in this film is the middle was too long. It was way
you feel
too.
The runtime of this movie.
The beginning was sharp as fuck, and the very ending was sharp as fuck. But the middle was too drug out. Like they could have. I think they legitimately like that middle is like a fucking hour. They could have trimmed that to like 30 minutes in the middle. And I think the movie would have been better for it because it was so much just like, okay, when are we getting there? Or there's a certain plot piece. You're like, okay, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing that they don't even get to until the end, where you're like, what the fuck? Like, what do we? It became repetitive, and the action became repetitive, and didn't work as well because they dwelled way too long in that middle zone without switching it up and keeping it fresh. That was a problem for me. But yeah, that's my two gripes without going too deep into what it was.
Well, they're supposed to be like professional things, robbers, and they go into the bank without like masks.
Yeah.
And they say their real names and stuff.
Yeah, and he lets the cop in. It's like, I get what you're saying there.
And then when the cop gets in the back of the ambulance to see if the cop was shot and if they were really taking him out, as soon as they're leaving, wouldn't he? Well, Jake Gyllenhaal's hiding. You can't see him. Wouldn't he see the 2 bags of $18 million or whatever?
Yeah, well,
I say no.
It was $8 million.
$8 million?
Yeah, because he gave the other 8 to...
We had 16.
Not yet.
He had 16.
He had 2 big bags just sitting there.
Yeah, but they could probably easily think that's paramedic.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. Yeah, and the other thing is like a high pressure situation. You got somebody like, we got a cop dying in the back, and then you're wondering like, is the cop dying in the back? And they're screaming at you, and all your focus is right here. I think that's something that's like easy to overlook. They're just like, all right, we're gonna. In their mind, they're probably like, let's just, if they're back there, they're back there. Whatever. And then they're yelling at you, and your eyes are on her. You could overlook that. I could let that one slide.
Okay, and then they're so worried about the cop in the ambulance. What about the other 12 cops they killed just chasing them?
Did they, though?
Dude, that one that went... There was a few bad police car wrecks. The one that went through
that, yeah.
That and then the bomb van or whatever.
How does that work though? Like that's like a chase scene though, where they're like swerving out of the way. They're dying,
like,
but
they're still like back.
But it's not. That is a weird one though, because like they're dying amongst a chase. I feel like that's not as like personal as like.
No, it's not as personal, but the
don't
cops
know
are
how
still dead. That's what I'm saying.
They are.
Like, they didn't kill them.
But I could see almost like a loophole there. Does that work the same as like, do cops dying in a car chase after bad guys, do they get counted for their deaths? Like I could definitely see that, but also it's not as hands on, so it's kind of. I don't know. That's a weird one, but I don't know with the facts on that.
The other one, he went for a forklift job, he said. And then when he's driving the ambulance back, his wife FaceTimes him. And he's like, I got the job. They wanted me to start today. And he's driving on the highway when he told her he was going to be driving forklifts. And he was like, yeah, they probably don't want me talking on company time. We got to get off the phone.
Yeah, it's a weird one. But
well, that one,
I don't know. Do we know where he was going to work at though? Because a lot of forklift jobs have drivers that are like,
dude,
they're
you
doing.
Just gotta like.
No, I mean I'm
contradict.
No, but
everyone.
Yeah, but like it's. I'm seeing the other side of it too. Like, it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but like a lot of forklift jobs have like most of the forklift places I've worked, like where I work now, bumper to bumper is forklifts, and there's drivers. They use the forklifts to load shit onto trucks and they go out. The job I had before that, Tires Now, I was a driver. The forklifts to get everything ready, and they drive. A lot of times, forklifts tie into with drivers.
I took it as he can drive anything in the Army or Marines or whatever, so he can drive a forklift. Like, that's how I took it. Like,
well, yeah, it's just that like it could go coincide and go two.
This is just, I don't even know if this is a good.
Like, it's a stretch, but it's not impossible.
Decision or not. Why did they paint the ambulance?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make them stand out more? But then I'm like, is there a reason? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Or did they just paint it?
Something on that.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Yeah.
I think it was like, so like the heat signatures couldn't with the hell
paint though, like
it's
just any paint. I don't know, because I feel like a quick cut and that was the reason.
The only thing I can think of is that they legit. You could even hear what he's saying. Like, you got 45 seconds. Like, they were wanting that to look way more professional for whatever reason, which isn't plausible at all. It's almost like the idea in their mind is like, let's make our vehicle look different. If it's completely different, they're not gonna go after us. And they got these other ones that they're gonna be like, okay, we'll definitely go after one of those. But in reality, it'd be like, okay,
I get it now,
yeah. But in reality, why, if you see this random green one and you see all these ones and it's obviously a bait and switch, and be like, why don't we go with the fucking ambulance that's painted green? Yeah. Because that's obviously the one they're in. It actually makes them stand out more. It might be just a thing where they think in their minds, like, we'll give it a new paint job and it'll be different, and then I will have all these other distractions, but it sounded way better on paper.
Jake Gyllenhaal says paint over the ambulance, like where it says ambulance. And then that's why I'm like, he probably wanted it to look like a professional, like a green moving van. So
that's exactly what he was doing. You got, in his mind, a brand new looking vehicle, and they're going after all the ambulances in a different direction. But in reality, it just looks like a painted over fucking ambulance, and it's like, hold on, bro, why are we chasing after these ambulances? It's obviously another ambulance, and it's painted over. It's got to be there.
Something corny that happened, it was like the lead guy was like, whenever he saw that happening, he was like, oh, that's a military move. Like, dude, it's not that difficult of a move. I'm pretty sure people have done that in real life. But you don't say that's a military move.
See, that's another one to contradict. I don't know about that one, though, either, because that might I don't know where that comes from. Maybe it really is, like, known as, like, a military move.
I'm sure it is.
I mean, we know it because we've seen it in movies, but this is supposed to be based on real life. Like, how many times have people actually done that in actual bank heist?
Military shit, though, pretty well. Him and Peter Berg are, like, two of the military directors.
Peter Berg.
So I would say that
some of the shit I'm arguing is just me playing devil's advocate, just to give a different point of view. I don't necessarily agree with it. And then in some of it, I'm just like, no, I see it this way. And honestly, like, that's one of those, like, I see it that way. I don't know for sure if it's military, but if it is, in fact, military, and that's, like, where it came from, and obviously in the movie, they're not talking about other movies, they're talking about real life. It's supposed to be, like, some new type shit. Then they wouldn't see it as, like, when we seen it in Fast and the Furious and shit like that. So it might just legitimately be a military move, and in the presence of the movie that's supposed to, be real life within the movie, they're like, it's not like, oh man, people do this all the time, like every bank robber does this. Because, like, does that happen in real life? I don't know. It's the classic, you got to do that, or you got to go in a parking garage and switch out cars and drive out. That's your two options when fucking helicopters are on you. And we know that from movies. But in a movie that's about life, maybe he's like, motherfucker pulled out the military, stop. So, I mean, I think it works in that regard.
What do y'all rate it?
Let
me go first.
Okay.
I got another thing to talk about, but I can talk about it.
Go ahead before we'll do it.
The ending was fucking amazing to me.
Yeah.
I loved how it ended. And the emotion of if we talk spoil, we're in spoilers, ain't we?
Spoilers.
Yeah, if we didn't say that already, where what's his fucking name? I'll never know it. Yeah. When he like shoots Jake Gyllenhaal and they both end up there.
Comes back to life.
Yeah, when they're out there, dude, and like that little emotional noise he made, like hit me tough, dude. He was like, like he made like a noise, like where they're just looking at that eye to eye, and then it did the flashback. It was like, oh my god, like that got me. I was
and
like,
then he saw him die.
Yeah, dude, it was powerful.
It was great until it got fucked up. The scene was awesome until it got fucked up.
How do you?
Because old girl went back for Yaya. I'm like, no, you can't feel bad for him. Like he still chose to rob that bank.
I know.
He still chose to do all the dumb shit he did.
I love
but
that.
She was that like that's her job. That's what she loves to do.
I don't even look at it
and
like
she
that.
Even like started to have
they had like a bond,
chemistry.
And he was like even protecting her and letting her know she's gonna get out of every step of the way.
He was telling her.
And then there's a little thing that's a legit thing that's not in movies that's called Stockholm Syndrome.
No, I get that.
Yeah, and this goes beyond Stockholm Syndrome because they had, at that point, clearly made just like, wow, this is a good guy, and I'm here for you, you're here for me, we're in a bad situation, we're going to get out of it. He was never a threat to her. He was driving the whole time, even helped out in that one scene, which was great. Yeah, that one thing, but it was all in like he couldn't do anything. He's like, fuck what I do? Like my brother could die, and he didn't shoot him in a place where he'd kill him, even though he could have died. He shot him in the leg, so it wasn't like it was choose. Like I got to choose my brother here, and he was like, stop. Fuck! She shoots him in the leg, not anywhere fatal. He was good through and through, and she saw that, and he saw it, and then that time Stockholm Syndrome. I actually love that. I love her charging in like that for him to like, because he's about to die, and she's just like, "Fucking no, I've had enough."
The cop in the ambulance should have died.
Mm-hmm. I did like his spleen rupture.
Yeah, that scene was fun. When that happened, I was like, "Oh!"
It just kept getting worse.
And then the
worse.
the iPad or whatever died. It was like, "Oh!" Yeah,
it did make me love like healthcare workers at that level. Like how serious they took it. Like they called them trauma surgeons who were golfing, and they were like talking it like that. Made me feel good.
Yeah,
Like there's people actually like that.
It's funny to think about. You're like having a conversation about healthcare workers. You're like, I got to tell you, I was watching Ambulance, and I have a whole new respect for healthcare workers. You're like, you were paying attention to the movie by Michael Bay. I really care about them now. But yeah, that's all I had to touch on. Y'all.
Okay. Ratings. Judging by the guy that walked out 30 minutes before the movie ended, I'm going to say a lot of people didn't like this movie.
Wait, what? Who walked out?
A random guy.
Did he?
Yeah, he just got up and left.
Yeah, 6.4 on IMDb.
Did it?
Yeah, not terrible.
I gave it an 8.3. I liked it.
Hell yeah.
It's a long movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, cutting some time off would be great, but it's nonstop action. That's just what I like in my action movies.
Mm-hmm.
8.3.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I'm curious what you gave.
Oh, I'm 6'4" all day long. I agree with IMDb.
Really?
This movie could have been a lot better. It's at the end of the day, I like it more than I don't because of my bias with Bay. So like his movies, I don't know. Like I'll probably watch it again.
Keeping the bias at bay.
It might go up a little bit, but it might go down. But as far as I'm concerned right now, it's a 6'4" for me.
Who? Dang,
I had a feeling you were gonna give it a lower score, and I've got to not do the same. I was stupid hyped for this movie. I wanted it to be a little bit better than what it was, but yet and still, it wasn't like the 9 out of 10 I thought it could be. I was that hyped for this. I love Jake Gyllenhaal when he's in like the right role, and I'm like, Gyllenhaal in this could fucking murder it. And he did. He killed it, I think. And Yaya Sisterhood did a great job. No traveling pants. But I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. I was juggling between like a mid 7, high 7 to, you know, like that mid 8, and then the middle kind of took me out of it, where it's kind of like it's just getting redundant and repetitive. It's like we're just looking for it's like it just kept happening. It was just like they were avoiding shit in the exact same ways, having the exact same problems.
Literally could have been an hour shorter.
Yeah,
an hour and a half. Boom, boom, boom.
Yes. And then then it would cut to, you know, old dude, the main police guy, just talking like, oh, they're doing this now, and then it would cut back, and it's just like that was the thing when they talked about doing the bait and switch. I thought that was gonna be like soon. They did the bait. They're like, we're gonna do the bait and switch, and that ended up being the end of the movie.
It took so long
to get to that. They drug that out too much, and then Gyllenhaal, it could have been perfection if he would have like had that turn to be the asshole, or he would have just committed to not be the asshole. Like I said, it was just too juggled, and they could have committed. I didn't like the non-commitment there. Those two things are what stops it from being like a high 8, low 9. And I was in the 7 range, but then the ending happened, and I was like mesmerized by it. And I love the girl too, when she the ambulance girl, when she like revisited like the girl it seemed like she was faking caring about almost. Like that was a nice little touching moment. Yeah, I'll give it great, but barely. But it was great. I enjoyed it. I definitely want to see it again.
Josh rated it a 6.8.
That's what he told me earlier.
And then he changed it just now. Like it was perfect timing because we were doing the scores to a 7.
Oh.
So he thought about it, went up 2 points.
Okay.
Yeah,
Josh?
I think it's kind of growing on me too. I think it's like because there's such highs in this movie, but then those two things that I said that stood out just kind of.
He did go full villain at the end though, which I liked. He was like, "We're gonna get out of this ambulance, and I'm gonna shoot you on live TV." He's like, "We're gonna die together." I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, but knowing his character, he might have got out there and changed his mind and been like, "I'm just gonna hold you hostage and make it look like," because
I thought a cop shot him at first.
I did too.
Yeah.
Ambulance.